All right, so we're diving straight in today to how to start speaking English.
Yeah.
Focusing on episode 1 of Learn English with AI in 30 days.
Right.
And our kind of mission here is to just extract the most practical and useful ways for someone to start actually confidently engaging in English conversation.
Love it.
And I think that's really, really important for anyone listening because,
Absolutely.
I mean, think about how often you meet new people, whether it's online, traveling, even in your own communities, you know, knowing how to even just initiate a conversation can really make all the difference.
It's huge.
Yeah. So let's break this down.
Go.
So the first thing I thought was really interesting was just this idea of like greetings and introductions.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the first hurdle.
Absolutely.
And the source actually gave us a really nice little spectrum here.
Okay.
At one end, you've got the classic, hello, nice to meet you, which always feels very polite and universal.
Sure.
Then there's the hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And then you've got all the way down to the informal end.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Exactly.
And I thought it was really interesting that just in the way that they phrased those 3 greetings, it really highlighted how the greeting that you choose can signal the kind of relationship
It totally
you're aiming for.
Yeah. And even think about like, you know, with those different greetings, the energy and tone that you would use with each of them would also send a message.
Totally.
Like if you said, hello, nice to meet you, and you said it in a really warm way, it still feels very welcoming.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's a more formal greeting.
Yeah.
And conversely, if you said to your friend, hey, what's up? But you said it kind of flat.
Right.
It almost sounds disinterested.
Yeah.
So it's really not just the words themselves, but the way you deliver them too.
Totally. It's like a mini performance every time you open your mouth.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the next thing is after you've said hello, you've got to kind of get to the who are you part.
Absolutely.
And our source gives us a couple of example self-introductions here.
Okay.
So Emma says, hi, I'm Emma. I'm from Canada, and I love teaching English.
Okay.
And then John says, hi, I'm John. I'm a software developer, and I enjoy learning new languages. What really strikes you as effective about these?
So I think what's really clever about those snippets is that they include not just their name and where they're from, but a little tiny personal detail.
Yeah.
So, you know, Emma says she loves teaching English, and John says he enjoys learning new languages.
Yeah.
And that does a couple of things.
Right.
One, it makes them a little bit more memorable.
Yeah.
But 2, it gives the other person an opening to ask a follow-up question or to find a point of connection.
Totally.
Right? Like, imagine if they just said,
yeah,
hi, I'm Emma from Canada.
Right.
It's factual, but it doesn't invite the other person.
It doesn't give you anywhere to go.
To really, you know, engage in a conversation.
It's like planting little seeds
for
conversation.
Yes.
Because, you know, if someone says, oh, you love teaching English, what's your favorite thing about it? Or learning new languages, which ones are you studying?
Yeah.
And then suddenly it becomes the springboard for a more engaging exchange.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from just stating facts to offering something about yourself that's more relatable and interesting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the hello. We've got the who are you.
Yep.
The source then shows how this might actually play out in a conversation.
Right.
So Emma says, hello, my name is Emma. What's your name?
Okay.
John replies, hi, Emma. I'm John. Nice to meet you.
Great.
Emma comes back with, nice to meet you too. How are you today? And then John finishes with, I'm good, thank you. How about you?
And then Emma says, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Perfect.
It's so concise.
Yeah.
But it really does lay the groundwork.
Think about what they've achieved in those few lines.
Yeah.
They've established their names.
Yep.
They've acknowledged the meeting with a polite phrase. And they've shown consideration for others' well-being with the how are you today and how about you question.
Yeah.
It's really a microcosm of social etiquette in English-speaking cultures.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, that, you know, even in just this short exchange, it communicates respect and interest. And it's not just about, you know.
It's more transactional.
Yeah. It's about building that little.
Building a little bridge,
tiny bridge of connection.
I like that.
Okay, so what happens after this kind of like initial pleasantry phase?
You get into small talk.
Small talk.
Which I think is where a lot of people can feel a bit lost. Yeah. And what's the point of small talk?
So the core purpose of small talk is to kind of ease into a conversation.
Right.
To build a rapport.
Yeah.
Without diving straight into really serious or personal matters. It's about finding common ground and kind of establishing a comfortable atmosphere for further interaction.
It's like warming up before a workout.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some good questions for that warm-up phase?
Some of the classic small talk questions that the source suggests are things like, where are you from? What do you do? What are your hobbies? And what makes those effective is they're generally considered safe topics.
Right.
And they're also open-ended enough to encourage the other person to say more than just one word.
Yeah, and actually the source gave us another little example conversation here.
Okay.
So John says, "Hi, Emma, where are you from?"
Right.
Emma says, "I'm from Canada. How about you?" John says, "I'm from India. What do you do for a living?"
Yeah.
Emma replies, "I'm an English teacher." "And you?" John says, "I'm a software developer."
Perfect.
It's almost a little formulaic.
Yes.
But you can see how each question is like opening a window to the other person's life.
Exactly. And I think the key there is to really listen to the answer.
Yeah.
And be ready with a follow-up question.
Totally.
So like if they say, "I'm a software developer," you could say, "Oh, what kind of software do you work on?" Or what do you enjoy most about that?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It shows genuine interest and it keeps the conversation flowing beyond just a very surface level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got greetings. We've got introductions.
Yeah.
We've got some starter questions for small talk.
Yep.
Now the source kind of puts this all together in a role-playing scenario, which is at a party.
Yeah.
Which feels very real world.
Very much so.
That's a situation where you would actually be using these skills.
Yeah.
So let's see how it unfolds.
Okay.
So John starts by saying, "Hi, my name is John. What's your name?"
Okay.
Emma replies, "Hi, I'm Emma. Nice to meet you." John says, "Nice to meet you too. Where are you from?"
No.
Emma says, "I'm from Canada. How about you?" John says, "I'm from India. Do you live here?"
Right.
Emma says, "Yes, I do. I moved here 2 years ago."
Okay.
John continues, "That's great. What do you do?" Emma says, "I'm an English teacher." And you?
Yeah.
John replies, "I'm a software developer. I love learning new languages."
Okay.
And Emma says, "That's cool. I love learning new things too."
Right.
And you can really see how they weave together all those elements that we just talked about, starting with the greeting, the name exchange, finding out about their origins, then their current living situation and their professions. And then that little touch at the end where John mentions that he loves learning new languages.
He says, "Oh, I love learning new things too."
Wait, it's that little personal detail.
It's great.
I think what's really effective about this, too, is that it's so simple.
It is.
It shows you don't have to be fluent to start having a conversation.
You really don't.
And I think for people who are maybe nervous or intimidated about speaking English, it's really encouraging.
Absolutely. And you can create such a positive first impression.
Yeah.
Just by using some of these fundamental phrases and showing that you're genuinely interested in the other person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from that.
Okay.
Our source is called Learn English with AI in 30 Days.
Right.
So, of course, episode 1 also touches on how technology can help with these first steps. So what kind of AI-powered learning tips did it have?
So one of the tips that I thought was really practical was leveraging voice assistants that a lot of people have on their phones these days, like Google Assistant or Siri.
Yep.
And the example they gave was to ask your phone something like, "Hey, Google, how do I introduce myself in English?"
Right.
And the beauty of that is you get to hear different ways of phrasing your introduction. You can practice your pronunciation by speaking to the assistant.
Yeah.
And you get that immediate feedback.
Yeah, it's like
even if it's just, 24/7, the assistant understanding your request, it's still an interaction.
Yeah, and it's so low pressure.
It is.
Because you're just talking to your phone.
Totally.
Wow.
Exactly.
What other AI tools did it highlight?
So it also talked about ChatGPT, which is, a really great tool that you can use to actually engage in conversations.
Yeah.
So you could ask ChatGPT to pretend to be someone you're meeting for the first time at a conference, for example.
Right.
And practice your greetings and introductions and small talk.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is you can ask for clarification or corrections
Yeah.
if you're unsure about anything.
Totally. It's like having this patient and readily available conversation partner that can also give you feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Now, apart from AI, were there any other sort of resources or tools that it recommended?
In addition to the AI tools, it also suggested incorporating some language learning apps into your routine. Things like Duolingo, Also Speak, BBC Learning English.
Right.
And these apps are really great because they focus on things like building vocabulary, understanding grammar, and improving pronunciation. All of which are those foundational elements that help you to have those initial conversations confidently.
So it's almost like use AI for the interactive practice and the immediate feedback, but use the more structured apps to build up those skills in the background.
That support,
It's a really comprehensive approach.
I think so, too.
Okay, so to recap, what we've kind of learned from this deep dive into the very beginning stages of spoken English, we looked at the importance of choosing the right greeting. Based on formality. We explored effective ways to introduce yourself, including your name, where you're from, and a personal detail.
Absolutely.
We looked at how to use basic small talk questions to open up a conversation. We even walked through a little scenario of how that might actually play out in real life.
At a party.
And we talked about how AI tools and language learning apps can be really invaluable.
Really helpful,
And I think when you really think about it, mastering these initial interactions isn't just about learning a few phrases. It's really the first step towards building connections, understanding different perspectives, and participating.
And feeling more comfortable and confident.
In a globalized world.
Exactly.
So for everyone listening, here's a final thought for you to consider. Now that you have these fundamental building blocks, what opportunities might they unlock? What new conversations?
What doors might open?
Could you start? What new connections could you make?
Exactly.
Mull that over. And join us next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.